So the Philadelphia Eagles have just released DeSean Jackson. Okay, now this is kind of a little bit of a shock to me. DeSean Jackson did post this on Instagram. He said, and I quote, "Philadelphia, it's always love, appreciate everything." So DeSean Jackson is now 34 years old. You know, he played for Philadelphia for the longest time. Then he ended up going to Tampa Bay in 2019, and then reunited with his Philadelphia Eagles team. Um, so yeah, Nate, let me explain something. Let me explain something. I'll go first, okay? First of all, best of luck to DeSean Jackson on his future and whatever team that's part of, okay? This is a sign from the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? I think this is a sign. I think they're actually gonna go into this draft and they are going to build a whole new identity. I truly believe that. I truly believe that that's what they're gonna do. Question is, how well are you gonna do it? You know, how well are you gonna draft? Because we know the Eagles ain't that great at drafting. You know, they passed up on some stars. You understand what I'm saying? They've had chances after chances to get these superstars, and they couldn't do it. So now, I think get rid of DeSean Jackson, get rid of Carson Wentz. You got the picks for Carson Wentz. I think they're going to start using those picks and using these picks that they have, that they already have. I think they're going to combine them together. I think they're going to go into this draft and they're going to try to pick the future of the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think whoever they draft for the Philadelphia Eagles needs to be willing to play, to be a starter from day one. Simple. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of pressure on a rookie. You know what I'm saying? When you come into the game and you got to start and you got to start on your first day of the job. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of rookies. I feel like the best thing for them is to take a year back and learn from like whoever the veterans are. But these rookies are gonna have to come in right away and perform for the Philadelphia Eagles. DeSean Jackson, I mean, he didn't have his prime years as a Philadelphia Eagle on that second stint, but he had a decent year in 2020. So in 2020, DeSean Jackson, he had 14 receptions, 236 yards. He averaged 16.9 yards per catch. He had his longest catch was 81 yards, and he had one TD. Okay, so it wasn't his best year, Nate. You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't. He wasn't that prime Deshaun Watson. I mean, not Deshaun Jackson. Excuse me. He wasn't that prime Deshaun Jackson that had 1,300 yards with Philly. He had 1,161 9 yards with Washington. He had 1,005 yards with Washington. He's not that prime guy. So to be real with you, I think that Deshaun Jackson is starting to push that age limit. I think in a little bit we're gonna see Deshaun Watson retiring, but I think he wants to give it like maybe a couple more chances before he does that. Now, some teams that Deshaun Watson will be a part of. Him going back to Washington could be a very good idea. Washington would like to use that other extra wide receiver to pair up with Terry McLaurin. So that'll be a good idea. Going to maybe New York. I could definitely see Deshaun Jackson stay in the NFC East. You know what I'm saying? He could go. Hey, he could pull a Tampa Bay. He could go rejoin the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with whatever team they got right now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to join that team to go win a ring. Might as well. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's all up to Deshaun Jackson now since he's been released where he wants to go. He's not going to get traded because he's been released. So it's all up to him on where he wants to go. I just hope he could pick a team that'll use him correctly, and maybe he'll have like a second stint at like his prime. You know what I'm saying? Because he's had that before with Washington, and Philadelphia. There's been years where he had slow years and then he picked it back up to like 1,000 yards. So there's no doubt in my mind he can do that again, but he has to be on the right team. Personally, Nate, my prediction is he's going to stay. He's going to stay in the NFC East, and I think my best guess to where Deshaun Jackson's going to go is the Washington football team. And so, with that being said, no matter where he goes, I wish him the best of luck. He's a very, very good player, and I wish the Philadelphia the best of luck in the future. And I'll pass on to you, Nate.
Yeah, and I'll pick up from there. Best of luck to Deshaun Jackson, in the Philadelphia Eagles. One thing that I should mention, I don't think you did. Jackson has recorded the most 60-plus yard touchdowns, 24 with 24 of them in NFL history, and he ranks sixth of all time in yards per reception, which is 17.4, which is really good.
Right.
Um, he's really good. So I mean that's some pretty big numbers. Um, you could argue Hall of Fame numbers, which I mean I wouldn't blame you. Um, yeah, man. I mean obviously 34 years old for football is really old. Not a lot of football players make it to that age. I mean, especially in this day and age, a lot of football players are retiring at early 30s. So for him to make it to 34 years old, it's pretty impressive. I personally don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know if he's gonna retire, if he's gonna go to another team. Maybe he will go to another team for a year or two, like you said. Um, but yeah, man, let me go to the Eagles for a second, all right? Like you said, draft well, take advantage of those picks that you got. Right, you got a couple picks from the Colts, right? You made a couple of other trades for other teams. You got picks from those, right? That second round pick that you got from the Colts could turn into a first round pick. So do your obnoxious fans a favor and
Damn,
give them a team, man. Give them a team, man. Y'all Philly fans
noxious.
try to be nuts,
I'm
man.
sorry,
But look,
Philadelphia Eagles fans. You
I'm
said
just bet.
that.
I'm just messing, man. But look. Take advantage of those picks. All BS aside, take advantage of those picks. Take advantage, like really look in and see who you can get. Because now you just got rid of Carson Wentz, but now you got rid of an even bigger veteran, DeSean Jackson. So now this is now next year this is going to be a very young team. It's going to be a lot of youngins. There's going to be very few. There's going to be very few veterans. So now, like you said, it's basically nitpicking at this point. Who's going to have a brighter future? Who's going to be an asset to that? All this kind of stuff. So you really got to look in and you know build a team now. It's a new era in Philadelphia. Doug Peterson's gone. Too bad Howie Roseman isn't gone. Carson Wentz is gone. Now Deshaun Jackson's gone. You know what I mean? So now you gotta build a whole new identity, a whole new era in Philadelphia. That's what's gonna happen. So with that said, I don't want to just be all on all the Eagles. I want to bring it back to Deshaun Jackson for a minute and wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors, whether that be retirement or staying in the league for a few extra years. So with that said, good luck to Deshaun Jackson and the Philadelphia Eagles.